Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Psychology Talks. And today we're going to discuss how you can change your life through changing your mindset. But you may ask, why do you actually need to change mindset in order to change your life? So let me tell you, there are a lot of people want to achieve big things in life. They have dreams. They want to have a good life, but they may be stuck somewhere in the life. They may not have good job, they may not have a good relationship, and they feel bad about it. The more they feel bad, the worse their life gets, so they kind of stuck in a vicious cycle. They don't have good life, they don't feel good, and that's why the cycle goes on. So this needs to stop, right? In order to change their life, they need to change their thinking. And that is when they can achieve their goal and they can achieve their dreams. And that's why I have invited our guest today, who is the living example of changing his life through changing mindset. His name is Dennis Berry, and he is now a very highly accomplished coach, and who's helping a lot of people to change their life, to achieve their dreams through changing the mindset. So let's welcome Dennis. Hello, Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Ambreen. I love talking with you. I'm so honored that to be here and have this discussion with you. It makes me so happy.
Likewise, we had the initial chat maybe a week ago, and I really love the way we discuss so many things. So that's why I thought that you're the perfect fit for this podcast today, and you can enlighten our audience today that how they can change the mindset, how they can actually change their life. So I gave a very brief introduction about you, but tell us a bit more about you, that about how you changed the life, what was going on in your life which made you unhappy, unhealthy. So tell us about yourself, but just one minute, because I want to say hello to all my audience who are joining. There are a lot of people joining, like Robert has already said that Roberta, sorry, not Robert. Roberta joined and she's saying amazing. Nantu is also saying good. There's a big name, and I think Dixon Mowilu Moswili. I think I pronounced it correctly, and is joined from Kenya. Psychology, the right direction to change the mindset. Yes. And LinkedIn user, I'm sorry, LinkedIn did not show your name, so I can't say it. So, but thank you for joining, and tell us that where you're from. And Faraz is a good friend, and he also comments a lot about on my post and engage a lot. So, hola amigo, yes, and hello Amreen, thank you. So keep coming, keep your comments coming. If you have any question, please share and tell us what you feel about the show or our discussion. So now getting back to you, Dennis. So tell us a bit more about yourself, about how your journey began, how you changed your life, and what are you doing currently also.
Yeah, yeah, great loaded question right there. We have to condense decades of life into a short period, which is uh,
Yes.
which is fine because
Yeah.
we all have lots of different things to do. But my journey goes back. When I was 5 years old, my
Okay.
grandmother said to my mother, "He worries like a little old man." At 5 years old, I was already full of
Oh.
fear and insecurity and worry and heartache, and like I just didn't know how to live. And now that's the case for most young people. And the problem was, as I grow up, I didn't develop any new healthy coping skills. So by the time I hit age 15, I started drinking and I started
Oh.
doing drugs to be able to cope with my mind that I didn't know how to handle life. And
Mm-hmm.
that went on for about 15 years till I reached a point when I was 31 years old where I was completely bankrupt. not only financially, but spiritually, my health, my relationships. I had nothing left in my life. And I was 240 pounds, or I guess that's about
Oh,
110 kilos, maybe something like that. I was
yeah.
unhealthy, unhappy. And I reached that point where they call rock bottom. I just didn't know how to live anymore. And so I had to uh, make a choice right then and there. And I had to stop drinking. And that wasn't easy. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And I checked myself into a treatment facility for 30 days. And I haven't looked back since. And now, April 8th, which was a few months ago now, that was 20 years ago that I was able to get sober and clean from drugs and change my life. Now, the big thing that I want everybody to know is that quitting drinking, it's not a not drinking contest. It's about growing up, but it's about being mature. It's about looking the world in the eye and taking care of your responsibilities. It's about being an adult. And um, I had to learn along the way, which is really painful in your 30s and 40s, to learn how to live. And it could be a tough road. And it's tough for all of us, but I never had the coping skills that many did when they were much younger. And so I had to learn those things later on in life. And it could be a painful journey later on in life, especially when you're trying to do it alone. So one of the things that I always recommend is to always, ask for help. If you need help, it's so important that we ask for help, because if we're trying to do everything ourselves, trying to do everything myself was what got me into trouble in the first place. That's because I don't know how to do everything by myself. So as a result, I end up with unhealthy coping skills or taking unhealthy actions in order to cope with life when I didn't understand things. And I could still fall into that trap, even though I've been sober for 20 years. I still fall into unhealthy coping skills or unhealthy behaviors when I'm unsure how to do something. And I think that that's a common story for a lot of people out there. What I do now is I help people build or fix or scale their businesses. And and that's extraordinarily hard. Building a
Yeah.
business is a very hard thing to do, and most of them fail. And the
Yeah.
reason is, well, there's a number of reasons. One is money. Money is always one of the biggest things, but if you're planning properly, we can overcome that. But the other thing is that we just don't know how to do that. And it's okay not to know how to build a business. It's okay to not know how to fix your own health. It's okay not to know how to fix your own relationship. If you don't know, ask for help. It's the
Yeah.
most powerful thing we can do. So if we go back 20 years ago, I had to ask for help. And that's what propelled me into this journey that I'm on today.
Yeah, I think that's your journey is very inspiring, because what happened, what I've seen is a lot of people are stuck in those, as I mentioned in the beginning, that they are stuck in that vicious cycle. They don't know what to do, and they keep on doing the same thing. Even like, Einstein says that, if you keep repeating the same thing and expecting a different result, it's just an insanity. And that's what exactly a lot of people are stuck, that they don't know how to get out from that repetitive cycle that they've been following for like years and years. So what I actually learned from your journey is that you realize that there is a problem in the life, right? You know that this is not, it's not going to be like this. You were fed up with the lifestyle that you were following, and then you took action. You took action by taking help. So I think one of the major things what I learned from you is realizing that there is something wrong, and then seeking help, or asking for help. That is the one thing. But my question here would be here, how would you actually find out that there is something wrong in the mindset, there is something wrong in, or there is something wrong with you? Because a lot of people don't seek help because at the first of all, they don't realize that there's something wrong, right? They keep on doing the same thing because they think that everything is going fine and this is the same way. So how do you find out that problem?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And
Mhm.
in my book that I wrote a number of years ago, that I don't really talk about often because it
Yeah.
doesn't, I don't really use it in what I do now.
Mhm.
But there's some great things that I go back and revisit it every now and then. It's
Okay.
like my journey in sobriety and stuff like that.
Mhm.
If you want to check it out, check it out. If not, one thing I really love um, is what I call the how approach to life.
Yeah.
And people say, how do I get sober? How do I build a business? How do I fix my health? How do I fix my broken relationships? How do I get out of credit card debt? And the answer is in the question, how do I fix these things? And how stands for honesty, open mindedness, and willingness. I have
Wow.
to first be honest and say, you know what, things are not going well because I can't fix a problem I can't admit exists. Now, once I admit there's a problem, I'm unhealthy, I need money, my business sucks, my family's falling apart, whatever the problem is, once I admit it, then I become open to new solutions or new ways of living that might change my outcomes. Like you were saying, if I do the same thing over and over, expecting different results, that's insanity. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if I start making changes and taking action, then change happens. So once I'm open to a new way of living, then I become willing to apply those things into my life. And that's the how approach to life: honesty, open mindedness, and willingness. And that's how change happens once we admit that there's something that needs to be changed.
Yeah, I think that's the great approach. I really like the this how approach, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. I think this is the core of changing the mindset, because once you're open to accept the solution, this is one thing that is important for any change, to bring about any change in life. And now coming to now for more questions, is that once you realize, okay, once you admit that there's a problem, and then you're also open to change, how do you select, or how do you select the right approach, right? How do you find out, okay, this is the right one that I should follow? So, because when you realize that there's a problem and you admit, okay, there's a problem, but what to do now? What's next? So, you need to explain this, how we need to go further when we accept that there's something needs to be changed.
Yeah, and great question. And it really all comes down to action.
Yeah.
It comes down to taking action. One of the things that we run into is when you're starting, I refer to business because that's
Yeah.
the field that I work in. But when we're starting a business, we write a business plan.
Yeah.
And we need to write this plan because, if I don't know where I'm going, I'm going to end up someplace else.
Yeah.
But the thing is this, it's like I need to write this down. Here's my mission statement. These are my products and services. This is my marketing plan, my strategy. This is my SWOT analysis. What are my strengths, weaknesses, and threats, opportunities, and threats? And we need to write these things down because if I don't know where I'm going, I'm going to get lost. The thing, though, is this: it's just a starting point. Like, we have to have this plan so we can take those first steps forward. But the truth is this: like, you have to remember, the way that we start is not the way that we finish.
Yeah.
So when we see the end result of a business, that's not how it started. Amazon started as a used bookstore in Jeff Bezos' garage, and now he owns
Yeah.
half the world.
Yeah.
Amazon World Services is one of the biggest conglomerates in the whole world.
Mhm.
Um, Walt Disney went bankrupt. I mean, all,
Yeah.
all these. Oprah was fired from her first job, and she started. Or everybody started differently than the way that they end up. We always see the final product and think
Yeah.
they just got lucky, or
Mhm.
I can't do what they did. They have skills I didn't have. It all comes down to taking action. So the best thing that I like to do is go back to what I said originally, was to ask for help. So we need to find honest, reputable people in the world. And LinkedIn is a great place for that. It's full of professional, accomplished, honest people. Yeah, there's some of the other type of people on there too, but
Yeah.
but there, that's up to you. You have to, like, do your due diligence, check people out, make sure they are who they say that they are, and then ask for help and then choose a direction, whether it's from a coach, a program, some sort of, something that's going to help you align your goals and actions. And then
Yeah.
uh, get to work, start taking
Yeah.
action. And what happens when you start taking action is that you learn what works and what doesn't work. And
Yeah.
successful people, they run into the exact same roadblocks that we do.
Yeah.
Successful people have failed, they make mistakes, they have financial problems, relationship problems, health problems, just like all the rest of us, except that they didn't let those things stop them. They
Yeah.
keep moving forward. It's so important that we keep pushing forward. The best way to get past any fear is to take action. Now, that first step that we take to get beyond that fear might not work.
Yeah.
But that then we learn something. We learn that that's not the right thing to do, and then we keep going. But most people quit right there because that's painful. I tried this, it didn't work, and now I don't know what to do. So now I turn to unhealthy coping skills like drinking or smoking or binge watching Netflix when I should be
Yeah.
working, or any other number of unhealthy coping skills. So the number one thing to really do is to take action. And then to take that back further, to keep us healthy enough to take action, is to live a mindful life.
Yeah.
It's to have that plan, not only make that business plan for your business and one for your life too. Say, this is the kind of car I want, this is the house I want, this is the how much money I want, the relationship I want, and then move towards that direction. But part of doing that is being healthy enough to do
Yeah.
that. And that starts by waking up every morning, drinking lots of water, going for a walk outside, get some sunshine, some fresh air, uh, taking care of your health. Read something inspiring and productive. If we wake up and we grab our phone and start looking at politics and all the problems in the world,
Yeah.
that's the way our day goes, and we end up staying stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you beautifully said that, and I so much agree with you that finding out exactly what I usually say is that finding out the purpose in life, like and how like, you just said that in business we write all the mission statement and vision, and the same applies to our life as well. We need to find out what exactly matters to us, where are we going, and what I've seen is like most of the people live in fantasy rather than they're following our dream. There is a difference between a fantasy and a dream. Like when you have a dream, you have some objective that you need to go there. But most of the people just have fantasy that it may like come from the sky and they will get rich or they will have a fancy car or something. So the difference between the dream and the fantasy is taking action or a plan. They don't have a plan, they don't have something. And that from my what I believe is that they don't have the belief in themselves. That's the reason why they keep fantasizing that something maybe come from the sky and which makes their life really fulfilling, or they'll give them some abundance in life. It doesn't happen. Lot of people just keep wishing for like genie to appear who can grant them the three wishes. But it never gonna happen. The thing is, the genie is themselves. They need to change their life. They are the ones who can make their wishes come true. No one else can do that. So I think I can completely agree with you that once they know where they want to go, only then they can set the direction. And on the way, they will definitely face lots of obstacles, lots of failures. It's not easy that once they have this dream, they take action, and then it's everything will come in alignment. No, it doesn't work that way. Always you will face obstacle, failures, challenges. And then even if I look at my journey, a lot of time, there was a time that I was on the verge of giving up. I said like, okay, no, I cannot do this. But the only thing is, when you have the purpose, when you have the dream that you think that you can achieve, that will give you the push. And that's how you will go on further and further. So now coming back to the discussion with you. So how to make that plan? That we have the vision, we have this. So how to realize this or to make it practically in our lives to follow the dream?
Yeah, I love that. For anybody who's listening,
Yeah.
I'll send a PDF of a plan that I give to all my clients. One, I give a business plan template that I use. Now, I've written business plans and raised millions of dollars. This is not that. Unless you're a tech company that you need to raise $100 million and get everything right the first time. That's fine. But for most of us here on LinkedIn, we're talking about entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, being an author, whatever it is you want to do. We need to start with a plan. So I have a business plan template that I give my clients, and I'll send to everybody who's listening here. If you reach out, I'll send it to Embreen if that's easier.
Sure.
And then I also have a business plan template for life. So I call it a vision plan or a dream plan. And I'll send that to you. And what it is the same thing. You go back, you start up top. What's my mission? What's my purpose and passion in life?
Yeah.
Define that, like write that down. For me, it's to help as many people as possible. I almost died thousands of times. I shouldn't be here. So my purpose is to give life away, whatever that means. I want to help as many people as possible, as much as possible. If people find value in what I do, then I want to share that. So that's my purpose. So I want to write that down. And then after that, it's like, what do I bring to the table to make that happen? How can I make that happen? Well, I'm a speaker. I talk a lot. I have business experience. I'm an author. I'm an inspirational, motivational speaker. Like I have some certain skills that I have to help define and fulfill my mission. And then I want to write down what do my biggest dreams look like? When you say in the fantasy world, it's okay to fantasize. If you want to have 9 figures in the bank, write that down. I don't want you to discount anything because it seems outlandish. If you don't write it down, it's never going to happen. So what we can do is I want to write it down. If you want to have 9 figures in the bank, if you want to have, mansions all over the world, if you want to drive a Ferrari, whatever it is, write that down. And then we could start taking steps towards it. If you don't write it down and you don't define it or make it tangible, it's never going to happen. None of it is ever going to happen. So those are the steps that we take. And then what happens is when we write those things down, we're not going to know right away how to get them done.
Yeah.
And so the number one thing is always, and I always get asked this at the end of these shows that I'm on, what's the one piece of advice that you can give me? Well, I'm going to give it now. And it's always continue to ask questions. Yeah. I do too. I don't know it all. I don't know a fraction of 1% of it all. I have coaches, mentors, and accountability partners in my life that I talk to on a weekly basis to help keep me focused and driven towards my goals. Because I can wake up every morning, just like a lot of the people listening here today, and go, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. Or I tried this yesterday or last week and it's not going well. And now I have credit card debt, or I have this going on, or whatever. So I get overwhelmed just like everybody else. There are certain problems I have, and then there's problems I don't have. I don't have some of these. I don't have money problems, but I have some of these other problems, right?
Yeah.
So it's important to remember that we're all in this together. We're all human. We all bleed the same blood. Jeff Bezos doesn't have money problems, but he has relationship problems. He has problems that we don't know about. High-class people, high-class problems. So continue to ask questions and surround yourself with people that will help get you towards your dreams.
That's very true. Geeta actually sent the comment that I disagree. People who are actively looking for a job cannot be living a fantasy. AI has recalibrated the job markets. Even the market is unaware where tech is headed and where it stands given AI. So I would just, okay, you go ahead first.
Well, I could say that, we all have different dreams. If you're looking for a job, then look for a job that is going to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit. That just because you're looking for a job doesn't mean you have lofty goals and dreams. You know,
Yeah.
that job might be helping you get to the next step, the next level. And maybe your goal is not to have 9 figures in the bank. That's not my goal
Yeah.
either. My goal is inner
Absolutely.
peace.
Yeah.
That's my goal. I like money because it takes away some of that worry. But if your focus isn't money, my focus isn't money.
Yeah.
The money
Same.
comes when I'm taking care of my health and my well-being and living mindfully. Money comes after that. So
Yeah.
that's what I focus on. But a we could dive into the AI topic if you want. But AI isn't going to
Yeah.
replace humans. People who know how to use AI are going to replace people that don't know how to use AI. So
Yeah.
I would recommend learning how to use AI.
Yeah, that's true. We will actually talk about AI, but just let me give a little bit of answer to Geeta. You're absolutely right that, first of all, you should know that what is your dream. And having a job or having a dream job is definitely not a fantasy. And people are definitely trying hard to get job. They're trying to uh, land their dream job. But the main problem, the difference between fantasy and the dream, especially even when you're looking for a job, is you're doing the same thing again and again. You need to, as Dennis said, you need to ask for help. If you're stuck, you cannot get out from the pattern on your own. You need to seek help. You need to find out how people have done that, and they can help you out. Because I've seen that successful people hasn't done it alone. They also got some help. We also, like I also speak with my mentors and I speak with the people who can help me focus. So never be afraid to ask for help, even if you're looking for a job or something. And you said that there's nothing wrong to have the fantasy, but you need to take action to convert it into a plan and then achieve your dream. So I hope we answered the question. And now let's dive into the AI, because I know that you are also an expert on AI. So I know this is getting changed now. Lots of things changing. There are lots of layoff. So what's your take on this?
Right. First, I am not an expert in AI. I just
Okay.
wanted to, I just wanted to make
Okay.
that clear. So if
Okay.
anybody is like tuning in to hear me talk about
Okay.
that, I can't intelligently speak to that. So
Okay.
not on a technical level. But what I can say is what I just did say is that
Mhm.
the world is changing. I don't know where people live who are listening to this right now, but when Uber came out,
Yeah.
the taxi companies spent billions of dollars fighting Uber because um, because it was taking away their livelihoods. But what
Mhm.
happened is that the world was changing. So Uber got together. I'm assuming you know what Uber is, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. It's a
Right. Okay.
car. Of course.
I, I was just making sure. Okay, so
Yeah.
Uber, the people that started Uber got together and they had this whiteboard meeting and they said, let's write down everything that's wrong with taxis. And they said, all right, well, sometimes they smell, the people are mean, they're expensive,
Yeah.
they take too long to get there, whatever it was. And so they created a business around fixing all of those problems. That's what
Yeah.
happened. And then
Yeah.
they created this company which took off and became $1 billion business overnight. And the taxi companies were fighting that when what they should have done, since they already owned fleets of cars, they could have
Yeah.
spent the $2 billion or whatever instead of fighting them, revamping their model and going with the flow. In terms
Yeah.
of AI, the world is changing right now. So AI is not going to replace humans. Humans who know how to use AI are going to replace humans who don't know how to use AI.
Yeah.
So there's so many resources available right now on how to use AI, and they're free. There's tons of free resources. There's people selling their courses and all different types of classes or whatever that you could take that are paid,
Yeah.
but you could find just as much information, I'm sure,
Yeah.
for free on YouTube or even on LinkedIn. There's experts
Yeah.
that are giving away information. So I would say this: embrace AI and learn in steps. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to use
Yeah.
AI. In fact, the reason it's becoming so popular is because you can use rocket science technology
With
simply,
it. Yeah.
right? They're making it simple to use, and that's why it's so popular. So what I would say is reach out to some people who are smarter than me that are AI experts and
Yeah.
talk to them and find out how to use AI.
Yeah, that's very true. And AI is taking over very fast. And as you mentioned that, it's very easy. My 8-year-old sound very much like an expert on lots of things because uh, he just says that Google it this, Google it that. He goes and asks Bard, and I like what not. He is much more better than me because he knows how to use it. So
Yeah,
it's
and
it's not a rocket science. Yeah.
no, it's not. And what I would say is this: if you're looking for a job right now, and AI is in any way, shape, or form part of that job, or even if it's not, I mean, go and use some of the simplest tools like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's set up for simple. Just go and spend 30 minutes, just 30 minutes,
Yeah.
typing in a few things and watch what happens. I'm going to share right now. If you go to my website, on my website on the homepage, and if you scroll down a little bit, there's a book called Mastering Success, the art or the power of mastermind groups, right? So I have a mastermind group where I have
Mhm.
entrepreneurs in there that we share secrets and we find ways to grow our businesses together. So I wanted to have a lead magnet, which is a product that you give away for free to attract
Yeah.
people to your business. So I wrote an entire book. I didn't write this book and I don't sell it on Amazon or anything. I wrote an entire book, a hundred
Wow.
page book on my website called Mastering Success with one click on ChatGPT.
Wow.
So anybody can go do that. You can do it right now. Whatever your business is, go write a book in one click. I said, write me a book on the power of mastermind groups,
Yeah.
and it wrote me a whole book. So now I know how to use ChatGPT to write a book. I know how to use ChatGPT to create content. Although I write all my own content, a lot of people don't. You can use ChatGPT or other AI tools to generate engagement or emails with
Yeah.
your potential clients. So find out how to do some of that stuff. It's really not as hard as you think. And if you go into your job interview and display that you know how to do some of that stuff, you're going to
Yeah.
get the job.
Yeah. That's very true. I think that the main catch is that find out what's happening and then adopt the change rather than resisting the change because a lot of people are afraid to adopt the change because they say, oh my god, it has something something big has happened and it's going to replace us. So it's you don't have to create a barrier between that change and yourself. You just need to adopt the change and go with the flow. It's okay. The first thing they need to keep in the mind, it's okay to fail. That's okay. Like first click, you may not get the book 100-page book, but that's okay. You will get something out of it, and then you can build upon that. Like if my 8-year-old can do that, I mean, I'm sure. I haven't tried it myself a lot on AI, but I'm sure a lot of people can do that, and a lot of people are doing that, and that's how uh, AI is there to empower us, not
Yeah,
to just make it use these things.
true. Yeah, I mean, and ChatGPT is the most popular uh, version of AI. It's just
Yeah,
one piece of AI, but a good thing to do if you've never used it is go there right now. Just Google
yeah,
ChatGPT, and I was talking about writing a book. If that scares you, just
mhm,
ask anything. Just like if you go to Google, it's more powerful than Google.
yeah,
Just say, tell me anything in the world. When I was writing that book, just so you know, to pique your interest and tell you how powerful it is, I didn't just let it write me a book. I
yeah,
it I also put in my writing style, my personality type. I mean, there's a
yeah,
lot going on that you could do, and doing that was all very easy because I am not an expert in AI. If
yeah,
I could do it, you could do it. Especially if you're, like you said, your 8-year-old son. I
yeah.
mean, younger people have an advantage. I'm 51 years old, and
Yeah.
I'm using all these tools. If I could do it, you could do it.
Yeah, that's true. I know we can actually go on and on because there are lots of things we can talk about, but now the time is actually is over. So, and you already given the one piece of advice. I'm not gonna ask you that what one piece of advice would you give. So, I think those who have already on the shows or live with us, maybe you have listened it. If you're not, then maybe you can go back and see that what is the one piece of advice that he has given. Okay, so now I would just ask you before ending up the show, how our read audience can reach out to you. What is the best way? I know you're very active on LinkedIn, but what else is the way to reach out to you?
Yeah, those are the two best ways. It would be LinkedIn, and the other one is my website, which is
Okay.
dennisberry.com. And from there, you can see that book. You can book a free session with me, uh, or any. There's I have free courses on there about life mastery that you can take, and I also have my solopreneur operating system course, which will help you build your sales funnel and get
Mhm.
people to your website so you can start doing whatever it is you do for money.
Okay, that's great. So anyone who is listening and who needs help in uh, leveling up their business, please reach out to Dennis. I will share the your website link, and I think I've already shared the your profile link on the comments so they can reach out to you. And thank you so much for sharing amazing insights. I'm sure our audience have learned a lot from you. Even I learned a lot from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ambreen. I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you for to all the audience who joined and who shared their comments to make it more lively. Thank you and bye bye.